Thank you so much for joining us on Canada West TV. Welcome inside the Langley Events Centre, home court at the Trinity Western Spartans, home court at the 2026 U Sports Women's Volleyball Championship. My name is Tim James alongside Dave Dooley. We are the commentary team for this afternoon, a rematch from yesterday. If you joined us, Thompson Rivers took it in straight sets. The number 7 team beating the number 4 team, the Trinity Western Spartans, in straight sets. Well, Dave, looking at that, is this something easy that you can shake off? Because you know you got the rematch the next day, or do you think this has been lingering? Do you think Trinity Western lost some sleep, just given that they fell in such a convincing fashion on the Friday?
I don't think so. I think it's one match. Anything can happen. You got a couple of really, really good coaches here. They're going to make sure everyone keeps everything in perspective. And yeah, as you alluded to, Trinity Western hosting the national championship, that guarantees they have a bid. And that just makes things a little less pressure for Ryan Hofer.
Introductions just made there for Thompson Rivers University. It'll once again be Libby Meldrum getting to start as the setter. She picked up 29 assists through the 3 sets. And she's up against Tiana Dimitric, the starting setter for Trinity Western. And we talked about this in the pregame. How the double sub returned yesterday. Sydney Gill was brought back, but Dave, as you mentioned, when you're coming off injury, you haven't had those game time reps. It can just throw off your timing a bit, and I think we might have saw that yesterday with Sydney Gill.
Yeah, I hate to quote Allen Iverson here, but we're talking about practice. It's different than a game. It really is, and hopefully that experience yesterday will help to make some improvements with that setter-hitter connection today.
Leading Trinity Western yesterday in kills was Kaylee Plouffe. However, it was Marin Bolden who was seeing the volume. She had 31 total attacks to Plouffe's 28, but it was Plouffe who finished with 12 kills, the only player in double digits in kills on the Trinity Western side, hitting a decent 321 from the right side. Marin Bolden, she was hitting in the negatives. She did not have her best match. She is a player that has been a standout, even a Canada West Player of the Week. That wasn't the case yesterday, but we'll see how main event Marin Bolden responds, because she has been a player that has already been to nationals before. She's played the big matches. She's been the star here for Trinity Western, and we'll see if she gets the volume as Kaylee Plouffe gets introduced here. And I was talking a bit about this with Ryan Hofer before the match, Dave. Are you looking to diversify that offense? Because really yesterday was a Plouffe performance, and we haven't seen that throughout the season. It's very often been Marin Bolden, Marin Bolden, Marin Bolden. How important do you think it is to diversify that offense, especially with the Spartans heading into nationals in a couple of months?
I think that's everything. If I'm Ryan Hofer, I'm starting this season and I'm putting down that date in March when we're hosting national championships, and I'm working back from there. What do we need to be successful? And really, if you have 2 aggressive pin hitters, that just spreads the middle blockers, and it's going to help so much with scoring points for your team.
In the middle for Trinity Western, same lineup as yesterday. Isabella Stothert in the middle alongside Emma Graca. You have Sophia Rader and Michaela McBain as the liberos, wearing the contrasting white jerseys. Trinity Western will be on the left side of your screen in the blue. Thompson Rivers wearing the white jerseys. Again, going back to Libby Meldrum. One change to the starting lineup that we should point out. It's Maya Cressy who will be getting the start in the middle position. Yesterday it was Faith Christensen, who is not in the starting lineup on this Saturday. That's one of the changes. Trinity Western again going with the same starters, but we'll see if they went through or go through the same idea that we saw yesterday with that double sub coming in. The officials for today's matchup: Nick Fuse is referee 1 and Brad Willard referee 2. Again, Trinity Western wearing those blue jerseys will be going left to right across your screen on the north side of the gym here at the Langley Events Centre. Thompson Rivers to get us underway. A rematch of yesterday, straight sets, and we are officially underway at 3:10 Pacific. Dimitric going over to the left side right away, and Bolden forcing Millam to dive over to her right. There's the tip inside and the pot, and Spartans will score first.
Great couple first contacts there to keep them in system. McBain, great control, allowing them to use all their options. I'm surprised they weren't ready for that off speed. I saw a lot of off speed yesterday.
Middles go front to back for Trinity Western. Graca will send that across. And this will go down the line. Plouffe unable to handle that one. So a quick side out for Thompson Rivers. Graca, one and done from behind the service line.
Yeah, beautiful left side set there, allowing that cross body line. Really tough to dig. That ball's coming at light speed. Not a lot of reaction time.
Lalila Tepe is off here, and we've yet to see a rhythm for either team, but here we go with Tiana Dimitric, and she is one of those players that can go on a serving run. You've now got 3 hitters at the net with Dimitric, the starting setter for the Trinity Western Spartans. Dimitric, 24 assists yesterday. No dumps, no kills on the day. And that will be no return, and the Spartans will score.
Now just a little bit of a tight pass for Meldrum. She tried to pull it with one hand, but just a little bit too tight, and she's a back row player. She cannot play that one over if she's above the height of the net.
Dimitric, the sophomore, back for her second serve. She saw many starts last season as a rookie, coming in here with experience and picks up the ace. So there we go, a difficult first serve, the second, an untouched ace, and it's 4-1 the score.
That's a just amazingly located serve. It had nice flat pace and also finding that left shoulder, the front row left side. Really tough ball to pass.
Again, 3 attackers at the net for Trinity Western. Isabella Stothard in the middle. Now Stothard sliding over. Can she get the block up? The block not there. This goes over top of the block, and a nice delivery coming off the hand of Hale Ward, who tied the team lead in kills yesterday.
And really a smart play by Andalajevic there. You can see they're targeting the front row left side. She scooted way over to her left and took the full court, allowing them to stay in system and opening up that attack.
Andalajevic will check off the floor right now. We've got 6 white shirts out there for Thompson Rivers. Here's Bolden, just sets this over top of the block, taken shallow, but in system. Thompson Rivers going to work. Nerlalila Tepe couldn't finish. Now there's a tip over by Drieger. Meldrum over to the left side. Millam hits it hard into the block, and as the coverage there as Bolden was crashing down to the floor, it will be a Thompson Rivers point. And after 3 straight for Trinity Western, it is now 2 straight for Thompson Rivers.
Yeah, Bolden's going to want to have that one back. Great control block by the blockers, putting that one almost to the ceiling, and yeah, she's going to want that one next time.
Maya Cressy sends this to Drieger, mishandles it. The bench is clearing, and it'll turn into an ace.
Another great serve, flat, deep. That one could have gone in, could have gone out. I couldn't really hear the communication from the Spartans there. Let's see if they can make a better call for their passers this time.
Spartans will set up in this serve receive once again. Drieger at the center of it. McBain with a nice pass to Dimitric in system. Plouffe hitting out of the middle. Now she'll go over to the right side and try to put up this block. 2 blockers there, but it's Millam with the kill from the left side.
Great high swing in transition, taking on those blockers high and hard. And you can see both liberos here are playing a game of chess. They're starting to figure out what the service strategy is and trying to alleviate the pressure from their other passers.
Cressy with Thompson Rivers on a 4-point run. Bolden, again, that timing is off. And Bolden is really yet to have a good go. I believe she had the first attack for Trinity Western, but aside from that, she's yet to be able to connect here.
Yeah, and that was a continued too. Yeah, this looks like a little miscommunication. Setters thought they were going high ball. Boulder thought they were going tempo.
Drieger. This will be tight to the net. Just sent over by Millam. Now Drieger trying to settle things down. Going over to Bolden, hoping for some hands, and she's going to get it. Point, Trinity Western.
Brad Willard with the call there, seeing the micro touch. Both linesmen kept their flags down, so it looked like TRU had a case for the no touch, but no one's arguing here.
I wondered, sometimes it's tough for us to be, 25 rows up to catch it. Have to judge what the officials suggest. There's the tip over the block. Dimitric taken out, so out of system. Trinity Western going to work now. Drieger hitting from the left side. Hard swing. Meldrum on the go, goes to the back set. Good coverage there. Meldrum will pass this ball up. Now it'll be a left side swing and making the most of it. Meldrum, a nice job getting that ball over to the left side, and from the pin, Lucy Millam picks up the kill.
Yeah, Millam with just a smart, high attack, attacking the edges of the block. That's what differentiates good left side hitters from great left side hitters.
Millam and the Thompson Rivers WolfPack leading by 2 points in the early stages of this set.
Yeah, Ward there going for the spin serve. I'd like to see her be a little more aggressive. Not sure if the toss made her take something off of that one, but for me, my spike servers, they got the green light to go all the way.
Middles go front to back for Trinity Western with Isabella Stothard. Serving this ball across. Meldrum goes with the dump. She didn't have a kill yesterday, but picks up one here off of the dump.
Really, really smart play. Really started with a nice hand pass there, but what was particularly intelligent about that is knowing that the middle blocker is playing defense in position 5, maybe not as agile as libero. That's a very tactical dump there.
Well, the Spartans now have their libero out there, that being McBain in this rotation. Mishandled on the first contact by Bolden. Thompson Rivers, Meldrum down to her knees to make that set. Lola Tepe goes over top of the block. Plouffe hits into the block. Dimitrik back over to Plouffe. Hard off the block to score, and there's Kaylee Plouffe. She's a veteran in her 5th and final year of eligibility.
Yeah, and that's what they want to see. You know, she didn't score on that first one, but Dimitrik going right back to her, giving an opportunity to swing again. And here's that double sub you were talking about coming in.
So this will be Sydney Gill coming in. Gill alongside Sydney Saida with Plouffe and Dimitrik joining the teammates at the side. Trinity Western trailing by 1 point, early stages of the opening set, with Sydney Gill, who has been off injured for a number of months, returning to start off this second semester. Her first match back yesterday, sends this ball across. There's the big push over to Drieger. Drieger tipping. Right side swing, dug up though by Bolden. Now Drieger. Meldrum trying to settle things down, makes the set from the 3-meter line. Erlalila Teppet picks up, hits it out of play, and Sydney Gill will continue to serve.
That one's just out of bounds, and a good rally for Gill to get into the swing of things here. She gets an in-tempo ball first, then an out-of-system ball. Sometimes it just takes one rally like that to get your heart going and get your hands into the game.
Gill. And Olivich with the first contact. Now Gill. It'll be a middle run. Gracka tipping this over, taking out this setter, so out of system. Lalila Tepe couldn't get that over.
Just didn't get over the net. 4 contacts called there by Brad Willard. And you were seeing a lot of off-speed from both teams here. I'm not sure if the setting is not exactly where they want it to be and they're having to go to secondary options, but yeah, I'd like to see them take a little more risk.
Spartans on a 3-point run. Meldrum, or Lalila Tepe, hits it hard into the block. Drieger goes into the block. Now Drieger gets a decent ball as that was in from behind from Raider. Lalila Tepe going aggressively down the line, and that will be the side out that Thompson Rivers needs after 3 straight points for Trinity Western.
Yeah, maybe I'm totally wrong. You see the aggression wasn't working. The block defense of both these teams is so strong. Either the block gets it or the defender does. It takes that little secondary throwdown, but it was still a very aggressively placed tip, which is why it scored.
Now the Bulgarian back to serve, Maria Dencheva. Goes to Drieger with the first contact. Out of system, the Spartans going to work, and now Thompson Rivers. Lalila Tepe hits it a position 6, handled well by Bolden. The setter Sydney Gill able to get there. 3 contacts for Trinity Western, and the point.
And there's a great aggressive swing. That's what I'm wanting to see out of system just a little bit more, is if they're not taking a player out, can they take on that block and blow it up? Great swing.
This one of 7 matches on the Canada West schedule on this Saturday. All teams in action. And this will be an ace for Drieger as that goes up into the second deck and clips Kyle Balzer, the public address announcer.
Yeah, you can see the flat floaters are really effective, especially in this gym. And I don't know if it's our headphones being on here, but I'm not hearing any communication. Both teams need to kind of fix that a little bit.
Well, when it comes to communication from the coaches, both coaches, Chad Grimm and Ryan Hofer, right at this sideline here. Issuing some direction. Sydney Gill, second ball. Side out from the right side. Couldn't finish. There's the tip over, and that ball drops. Sophia Rader was in a playable position. Now in a discussion with Drieger, trying to correct that as that ball drops.
Yeah, Rader's got to pick that one up all day. She's wearing that white shirt for a reason. One step away from her. I don't want to look to my other player. This is my job. I'm getting that.
Back to the top of the order in servers as Meldrum got this match underway, and she's back for her second serve, gets that across, and this will be a Thompson Rivers point, so Meldrum will continue to serve, and we are tied at 11.
Yeah, nice angle swing there by Ward, but don't forget about McBain, that layout off the tape there. Incredible play to give the Spartans a chance.
McBain at the center of this serve receive, mishandles the first contact. Drieger from outside of the court gets this over to Bolden. And Bolden has had a number of sets that haven't been ideal so far on this Saturday. It's Gracka, the middle run to get this side out for Trinity Western.
Yeah, if you're Chad Grimm and the Wolfpack, you're looking at, and if you lose this by 2 points, that's a big point. Your server did a great job to earn a free ball, and you overpassed the free ball. That's maybe signs of, early into this second semester, the rust is still there.
Emma Gracka had 3 kills yesterday, and that's going to go off the head of Drieger. It's a side out for Thompson Rivers after the middle attack, and we are tied at 12.
I love that. Going to Cressy after her bad free ball pass there. Totally redeems herself.
Spartan serve receive, including Drieger. This ball goes to Drieger. And it will be a Trinity Western side out with Urlalila Tepe unable to go back to serve a second time after Trinity Western wins that point. The team's exchanging points, and here we go. The double sub is reversed with Tayana Dimitri, the starting setter for Trinity Western, returning to the floor. And I think, Dave, it's safe to say that Sydney Gill, she did well in that limited action that we saw.
I think we're going to see that for the rest of the night, probably every set here. Yeah, they closed the gap a little bit. Let's see how Dimitri does from the service line.
Dimitri was part of a 3-point run earlier on this set for Trinity Western. And there will be no run here as Drieger unable to dig that ball. It's a right side swing from Thompson Rivers, and we are tied at 13.
Yeah, Ward showing some good range. She hit an angle one a couple of seconds ago. Now she's kind of hitting that 5-6. Tough to block a player that has so many different options.
3 contacts by the Spartans, the third one coming from McBain. Now Meldrum going over to Millam. Was there any contact? This is going to go out, and a point for Trinity Western.
And that's, if you're Chad Grimm of the Wolfpack here, that's just what's going to drive you crazy. Another free ball. You've done everything you could possibly want from the service line. You get that free ball, and you're out of system, forced into not a great swing and a hitting error as a result.
Marin Bolden delivers that to Urlalila Tepe. Now Dimitri backpedaling. Plouffe with this swing, picked up in the back. Second ball from Dimitri. There's Bolden with an aggressive back row play. There's her best swing of the day.
That's a great swing, and in system, that's like almost like a Bic there. Super, super quick, super fast. Everyone thinks that ball's going left side. Timeout here from Coach Grimm.
With his team now trailing by 2 points in this opening set. Tim James alongside Dave Dooley. And Dave, it's great to have you a part of the broadcast. I was flying solo yesterday. You were listening to it, so it's awesome that we have your perspective. But maybe for the viewers, just give them a little bit of background. Where do you come for? You touched on this a little bit in the pregame, but what kind of experience do you have?
Yeah, so I've been coaching for, 20 years now. Been all over the place. Most recently, I coached Piers de Grief here, as well as Noah Miller-Snitz. We won the gold for Team BC at Newfoundland at Canada Summer Games this summer. And I've been doing indoor for a long time as well. I took a step down in 2020 after winning the national championship with the Capilano Blues. Had a son, named him Wilson. If you're wondering, yes, it is after a volleyball. It wasn't my choice. That was the wife's choice, and I think she got to.
Is it from the movie Castaway?
Yeah, it's from Castaway.
Okay.
Yeah. But shout out to them. They're maybe tuning in somewhere, and just excited to be a part of the great volleyball.
That is awesome. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the broadcast. I know we appreciate just adding that colored commentary, because you asked me before, well, Tim, did you play volleyball? Yeah, I played up until high school. I was never good enough to play college or university. So it's great to have you with us, Dave. Back underway through that Chad Grimm timeout. First timeout taken by Thompson Rivers. This is going to be a point awarded to Trinity Western with a lift called against Thompson Rivers.
Yeah, it was a bit of a tight call. The block was made, and then she kind of just pushed it over. It's kind of one of those, that looked ugly, so I'm going to call it maybe.
Marin Bolden, part of a run
Nasty
here for Trinity
serve.
Western. Couple of contacts, so there you go. Bolden starting to heat up, and sometimes, I bring something up, Dave, and I say, Amy, this player's not playing the best right now. I did that with Sydney Gill, saying that she didn't have the best day yesterday. She came in. She played well. I mentioned Marin Bolden not having a great start to the match. All of a sudden, she's starting to connect, especially it was that pipe ball just a few minutes ago that really stood out.
Yeah, the reverse commentator's curse.
Once again, out of the pipe is Bolden. This time it's dug up on the Thompson Rivers side. Ward couldn't finish. Drieger tipping this ball. Dimitrik backpedaling. Back over to Drieger. Sharp angle and scores! Wow, Drieger.
Look at that contact point. The first one wasn't quite there. What a brilliant recycle to earn another attempt. And that's got to be like 2 meters there. She crushed that one.
Drieger, an excellent job. And now Trinity Western up by 5 points in the opening set. There's Millam off of the block. The coverage is there. Thompson Rivers, after taking in straight sets yesterday, finding themselves in some trouble in the opening set. Once again from the back row, it's Bolden. This time it's not power, it's more placement as she rolls that ball over the block and scores. And now Thompson Rivers using their second and final timeout with a 6-point differential.
Yeah, it's a good timeout. You can see some body language from Coach Grimm here, just taking one player aside, chatting with them one-on-one. But yeah, if I'm him, I'm calling this timeout too. You've had 2 missed free balls, a couple of off speeds like that where players are looking at each other, and all those translate to points. Those are 2-point swings every time, and they really should be a lot closer in this set than it is. Trinity's doing a good job of taking advantage of those mistakes, though.
Trinity Western Spartans, Thompson Rivers WolfPack, and hey, stick around if you've got nothing else planned for this Saturday, or heck, even cancel your plans. We've got a doubleheader here, and Dave, I say that because, coming into this weekend, I thought the women's match, that's the bigger one. That's the one that I'm focused on. I'm ready for it, and it was in straight sets yesterday. And then we had the 5-setter for the men. They put on quite a performance. Now, it wasn't perfect volleyball, and I think Coach Adam Schreimer would say that for his Spartans, but hey, that was an exciting one. So that's still to come. The rematch, it went 5 sets yesterday in the men's match, and we will have that for you scheduled to start at 5 o'clock Pacific, depending on how long this one goes. Again, it went straight sets yesterday in favor of Thompson Rivers, but the Spartans so far are saying that's not going to happen, at least not in straight sets. Block going up by Stothert. 3 contacts with Meldrum diving back, and the Spartans continue this momentum. Marin Bolden will go back to serve. No more timeouts for Thompson Rivers. They've used both of them, but they do have those substitutions.
Yeah, for Coach Grimm, this 2013 down, you've used both your timeouts. What can I do to disrupt the flow and the momentum of Trinity here? He's doing a good job, doing everything he can, but now it's up to the girls.
So Lauren Junk coming in and immediately tested on that serve from Marin Bolden. Right side swing, and there's the side out finally. Coming from Ward, the kill on the right side.
Yeah, that's a few points now for Ward on the right. She's pretty efficient over there. I think it's a good get out of jail card. Both setters looking to really involve their middles here. Look for a middle run if this pass is good.
Well, let's see where Dimitrik's going to go. Approaching the middle was Stother, but instead it's the right side. Plouffe with perfection down the right side, and Trinity Western leads by 7.
Yeah, another right back at you. That little wrist away 5-6 swing. That's the right side bread and butter. That's impressive for a middle hitter. Transitioning to the right here.
Isabella Stothert. She's from near Calgary. Airdrie just north of the city, and that ball will be sent out. Spartans with a number of players coming from the province of Alberta. You can talk about Stothert. You can talk about the OG from Okotoks, Marin Bolden, just south of Calgary. Sydney Sider from St. Albert, just outside of Edmonton. Here's Dimitri. You mentioned Kaylee Plouffe as well, Sherwood Park, just outside of Edmonton. That right side swing is going to go long, and Trinity Western, you talked about it, capitalizing on some of those mistakes, including the attacking errors.
Yeah. WolfPack just giving a few points away. There's just another misconnection there for the Spartans that turned into a great opportunity to steal for the WolfPack, and just out by a foot.
Here's Plouffe. Excellent serve. Lila Tepe sending that across, picked up by Raider. At the racket, tipping over the block, easily handled by Thompson Rivers. Pushed over to the pin. Lila Tepe going to work. Tracked at the net, and it will be a Thompson Rivers point.
Yeah, too bad Raiders just on the move, one way, ball deflects behind her. She makes a stab at it, but just can't quite get it. But another misconnection for the Spartans in the middle there, having to give up another tip. And I'm trying to figure out if all this off speed is part of the game plan or if it's due to a misconnection.
Substitution now, a service substitution for Thompson Rivers with Madison Maichin from the great city of Delta subbing into this match, and Maichin going over to her right, unable to dig the ball, and she will be done serving for now. And Dave, I mean, we haven't broadcasted together yet. First time for us here, but anytime that there is a player from Delta, I always have to highlight that. I grew up in Delta,
okay,
and we don't have too many volleyball stars from the city. There was Brooke Halverson years ago, if that name rings a bell, played for the Calgary Dinos.
You got to have more than that.
There's a few.
There's been some people.
There's been a few.
Delta, yeah.
But it has
the McNamara twins?
It's well, yeah, and it's not exactly like, yes, not like Langley, let's say.
Yes, hotbed.
There's goal,
cool
and
first time we've seen that, a little inside 33. So the right side blocker is just getting used to going pin, and bring the left side inside, and there's an open gap. She's able to bang pretty hard there.
Now Taryn Grandia with set point for Trinity Western. The Spartans unable to win a set yesterday. And here they go. Meldrum trying to stay off of the net, makes the set. Diving forward was Plouffe. It will be a Thompson Rivers point. So the Wolfpack staying alive for now.
Yeah, I think this is a bit of a foregone conclusion at this point, but it's all just about trying to get your team a little bit of momentum. 5-set match. This is a long one here.
And that will be sent out. So we talked about the mistakes that the Wolfpack have been making, and there you go. It's a service error to finish up this opening set. 25-17, the final. And it will be the Spartans serving first in the second set. Stay with us. You are watching U Sports Women's Volleyball live on Canada West TV, presented by BioSteel. Thank you so much for joining us on Canada West TV. My name is Tim James, and I'm joined by the coach of the Spartans, Ryan Hofer. And Ryan, that was a quick one last night. What were your thoughts, and how much of it can you chalk up to that was the first match back?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. I'm a little I think we're all a little disappointed that it wasn't a little bit of a longer game, that we didn't put up a little bit of a bigger fight, and so. But night two is a little bit about redemption, and so I think there's some adjustments we can make on our side. And I just believe it's about finding how we are going to play. And so TRU played really well last night, not to take anything away from they did, but we needed to raise our game. And there's some things that we can do to do that.
Kaylee Plouffe was one of the players who stood out for me last night. Is there any idea to get her more of the volume and see her get more of the touches offensively?
For sure.
We'll leave it at that.
You always want to get certain players on your team a little bit more volume, but there comes a point in time when sometimes it's too much, and so we want to find the right amount of volume at the right time, and we need it to be a well-rounded effort. You cannot win a championship with one player, and so we need to have more players doing more things on the floor.
I know you're going through some injuries. I know you've got a couple of months for nationals. You've already qualified. How much more are you going to be playing around with the lineup, or are you starting to lock in and say, these are the ladies I'm going with?
Yeah, we've got a pretty good crew that we're going with, but I believe that we've lost a little bit of our support cast. So as that support cast comes back, I believe they can be key contributors on our group. And so we'd like to get those back, and when they do, I think you'll see some different players out there as well.
Sounds good. Thanks for your time, Ryan.
Yep.
That is Ryan Hofer, head coach of the Trinity Western Spartans. Some light rain falling outside of the Langley Events Centre on what has been a gray Saturday around here. Thank you so much for joining us, because inside the Langley Events Centre, things are heating up for the Trinity Western Spartans after a victory in the opening set, 25-17. My name is Tim James. Dave Dooley doing the color commentary. And Dave, you were talking a bit about the off-speed in that opening set that you saw for Trinity Western and trying to decipher what exactly was the cause of that off-speed.
Yeah, we'll get into it after this first point here, yeah.
Here's Meldrum. Block going up, and it will be Thompson Rivers scoring first in his opening set. Side out for the visitors.
That's a huge swing on the right side. Yeah, it's interesting to know, like 3-3-0 for the WolfPack last night. Ryan Hofer and his staff have probably looked at things and come up with a few ideas, and maybe off speed was one of them, being a little more patient on their side of the ball.
Middle Maria Dencheva is off on the serve, so neither team yet to generate something here with momentum. Early stages of this second set.
I don't mind that miss, though. You're still putting pressure on that front row left side to make a decision.
Now a middle serving for Trinity Western. That was Gracca. Stepping around was Cressy. Cressy got the start today. Didn't get the start yesterday. This is hit down the line, and it's a point for Thompson Rivers, with TRU taking a 1-point lead.
Yeah, I think that's our first slide we've seen, going behind the setter off one leg. Well defended by the Spartans, but it led to a recovery and a big swing on the left side there down the line.
Here's Meldrum for TRU. So setter to the back row. That serve going to Drieger, and then turns into a battle, and Dimitrik, reaching up a hand, was able to send that back to the TRU side. This will be sent down the line, and it's perfect placement because the Spartans weren't in position. Drieger diving over to her right. Point, TRU.
Yeah, that's a great shot there. You see her go up early with those fingers. You're thinking it's a short tip, and she pushes it deep. Great battle by Dimitrik at the net. She's got to be, a little bit short of muscle, but she wins it, as setters almost always do.
And Plouffe trying to track this one down and not going to get there in time. And it is the WolfPack now leading 4-1. It was the second set yesterday. The WolfPack dominated 25-14. That was the final. Meldrum going to the other number 3, Bolden. It's going to be a middle run by Stothard. Meldrum, middle run by Cressy, and she will pick up the kill.
Good job out of the WolfPack. Kind of forgetting about that first set, but correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the first set started this way too. WolfPack started off with a bit of lead, and then Dimitrik went back to serve and went on that run to kind of even things out, and they ran away with it from there.
Here's Bolden back inside the Trinity Western court. Right side swing by Ward. Ward going up again in a battle against Stothard. Now Dimitrik. Stothard faking. Some separation in the block. That attack taken by Plouffe. Woo! Down the line. Plouffe with no chance. Lilalila Tepe. Left side swing picking up the kill.
I think we're going to see a healthy diet of that front row left side, especially when Dimitrik's in the front row. A bit of an undersized blocker, as setters sometimes are. And that's a great matchup if you're the WolfPack.
Meldrum still going here. Bolden hits into the block. The Spartans were there, but not enough. Now looking over at Coach Ryan Hofer, I imagine this is the time, and he will take his first timeout. The Spartans did not take a timeout in the opening set. Here they are taking one, trailing by 6.
Yeah, tough start for the Spartans. Really in serve receive, things started really poorly. A lot of free balls they had to give up, and then the pressure's on the attackers to try to get them out of it. And great block defense from the WolfPack.
When you look at the leaders in this match, Maren Bolden right now with 4 kills for the Spartans, but she's matched with Drieger when it comes to total attacks. So there you go, the distribution being dealt with. Kaylee Plouffe has seen about half of those attacks. She's at 6 attacks with 2 kills. On the Thompson Rivers side, Lily Latepe, not a big surprise. She's at 7 kills on the day with Ward at 5. So heavy offense to those two, Ward and Lily Latepe, so far. Trinity Western still in the huddle, and Thompson Rivers has already broken out of it.
Yeah, they're ready to go. Momentum's flowing. Blow me in, ref. I want to serve this ball.
Well, Chad Grimm, he's been a coach for a while here with Thompson Rivers, 11 seasons. Now lots of experience, of course, for Ryan Hofer, as he's been with the team since 2006. Ulivich with the dig. Now the Spartans in system. Fake in the middle, some separation of the block, and Bolden is going to capitalize. Good job by Stothert going up. Bolden with the finish from the left pin.
Yeah, I could stretch that arm out, throw it down where there's space. And again, the swing with power isn't working. The off-speed is.
Tiana Dimitric, the setter, back to serve. She's at 10 assists on the day. Meldrum with 14. Meldrum passing this ball up, and Ward is going to go into the net.
That's too bad. As a blocker, you're thinking they're going high hands in that situation. You maybe go a little higher and don't seal the net, and then that sneaks through underneath your arms. They really had the advantage in that point.
Here's Lily Latepe. You can see the teammates cheering on. TRU, Dimitric, back set, over to Stothert, stepping around. Now Stothert trying to reset. She's going to have to get up. Here's a battle. Stothert trying to settle things down. Dimitric over to the right side. Plouffe with the point.
What an athletic set there from Dimitric. She did a little pirouette, jumped up, held the middle, looked like she was going middle, and fling that one back to Plouffe to put it away.
And here is Maren Bolden in her 4th season. You get 5 to play at the youth sports level. Lily Latepe going over top of the block, picked up by Plouffe around the 3-meter line. Now here's Drieger reaching back a bit, gets this across. Lily Latepe with the first contact, middle run by Cressy, and she will score for Thompson Rivers. The WolfPack now leading by 6 in the early stages of this second set.
And Meldrum with her own athletic play right there. That ball is really tight. She's able to get her body to the net but not go under, stay clean, find her middle for the point. Incredible display of athleticism from both setters here.
Just one libero out there on the court right now, that being McBain in the serve receive, and the Spartans are going to go to work with Stothert sending this out of play. So McBain will go back in that serve receive, and Cressy will go back to serve once again.
And that's another interesting one. Stothert said, I think she said my bad on that one. Maybe she was expecting it not to be pushed.
McBain, Dimitric, Stothert trying to tip that one. Good reach, though, at the net. As right there was Dancheva. And Millen's going to send this one long, untouched. Point, Trinity Western.
Bit of a sloppy rally on both sides of the ball here. You can see the standard for hands maybe 3-4 years ago. A couple of sets are called in that rally, but referees are changing things. They're letting everybody play. Down the NCAA, there's no double contacts at all. And maybe we're following suit eventually.
There's one thing I wish we'd follow with NCAA, and I'll get to that in a moment as Stothert delivers this ball across. We're backing away. Meldrum, it's going to be a middle run. Sent over by Dancheva. Now Dancheva going up to block, and it's Drieger who's going to get this one through. Now the one thing that the NCAA does, and I believe they were even doing it at SFU, was that clock in between the serves.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Kind of like the pitch clock. I'm not sure what you call it in volleyball in this sense, but the serve clock, that's something that speeds up the play, because even yesterday, we started late for the men's match. It was a straight sets victory for Trinity Western's, for Thompson Rivers women, but we still started late in the men's, and I think that's one thing that can help clean up things. Gracka rejected there with Dan Cheva, putting up the block on the Thompson Rivers side.
Yeah, we maybe have a little bit more time to talk here with this, but I think everyone wants to see these athletes play. I agree with you. That would be a great thing, as well as some of the quick sub rules, just making it more viewer-friendly and speeding the game up, and it's more about the game than the waiting.
Dimitrik, big push, getting that over to Plouffe. She had to go with the back set. Now over to the left side. Drieger couldn't finish. Now where's Dimitrik going to go? Yeah, she was in trouble, so she goes over to the left side. The easiest play in that position. And this is going to be a wild one that, well, tags Ryan Hofer, no touch.
It just looks like a drill to me. Like Spartans off speed, recycle, off speed, and okay, we're just going to go off speed until they make the hitting error. It's super interesting because those look like good sets. Looked like the ones they could have swung on. It must be something they know that we don't, and it worked. They got the point there.
Double substitution for Trinity Western. Sydney Gill, now the setter with Dimitrik off. Gill, who we saw in the opening set, come in on the double sub. Played well, stepping around is Dan Cheva. Spartans are going to work. Gill looking for an assist here with Gracka, who tips that over top, and Thompson Rivers couldn't corral the ball. And the Spartans starting to mount a comeback here as they are down by 4 after falling behind early. That first timeout was taken when it was 7-1 for Thompson Rivers.
Yeah, good swing since that timeout.
Gill back on to the Spartan side. After one contact, Gracka punched that one over. Now Meldrum, a back row run. Urlalila Tepe taking out the setter. Second ball from Gracka. What's Drieger going to do with it? Hits it hard to the end line. Now here's Bolden out of the back. Brilliant. Marin Bolden puts the Spartans within 3.
Yeah, beautiful set. Everything's in rhythm for Bolden. She's able to take a full swing on that. I think Gill's just undersetting her middles a little bit. They're just a little bit low, so they're having to kind of pop these over. Give her a little bit of time. That connection's going to improve. Still coming back after that injury.
If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can reach out at CanadaWestTV@gmail.com. Let us know if you notice anything with the broadcast. If you have a question for our expert today, Dave Dooley, let us know. CanadaWestTV@gmail.com. You can also find me. I've posted an Instagram story you can check out. timjamesmedia.ca. That is the username. You can also find it shared through the Trinity Western Spartans account. And Dave, we were talking about this earlier, that, yeah, I was excited about this one coming into it, that these are two teams that are hungry, two teams that we could see in the national championship in just a couple of months. It was the men's match that really stole the show yesterday. And I'm looking over to the second deck here, and I see the men, they're already getting ready. They're already suited up, and, well, yesterday they were hitting the floor sooner than later, but I don't know, the way I'm seeing this here, yeah, Thompson Rivers is ahead, but the Spartans, they're closing the gap. We could be in for one that's longer than 3 sets today.
Yeah, I think this set is really going to decide that.
Sydney Gill getting us back underway through that timeout. Whew! Nice delivery from Dancheva with this side out.
That's a great timing. You can just see setter-hitter connection is beautiful there. Block doesn't have a chance to form. That ball's on the ground before they really know what hit him.
Lucy Millam doesn't get that high enough to get it over top of the net. Goes into the mesh, however, so the Spartans will stay within 3 points. And Trinity Western leading 1-0. That opening set really opening up in the second half with the Spartans jumping forward. A serving run from Marin Bolden. It's always dangerous having Bolden in the back. Lalila Tepe coming through the block quite easily, picks up the kill.
Yeah, she's almost lights out there on the left side. That's automatic kills, especially when she's one-on-one. Middle blocker's a little bit late.
A substitution for Trinity Western with Taryn Grandia coming back into the match. Grandia first to contact it. Now Bold, and that goes hard off the block, and you can see the Spartans defense so choked up there that easily landed back around position 6.
Yeah, what a close by Cressy, but she also knows, you know, that's the big gun on the left side, and it's her setter blocking. It's very likely going to go there. She can kind of think about that and commit to it. What a play.
Dancheva, one of the two middles for Thompson Rivers, back to serve and gets this across. Here's Gracka with the middle run, and Gracka, you know, she's picked up some of these points, Dave, and it's not necessarily that she's hitting them hard. It's not just the quicks that are just lights out, but she's just finding a way to get that ball to hit the floor.
Yeah, her timing is good, and right, her hands on that ball quick, and she throws it down. She knows where that floor is, and she can get it there.
Gracka with the ace, as that was mishandled from Millam. And we'll see if Gracka goes back to a similar part of the court. The Spartans within 3.
Yeah, I know Ed Millam just had that service error as well. Sometimes those errors can compound and really affect your brain. Passing is all about your brain.
Meldrum, it's a back set stepping around as Cressy made contact from the right side to score. Three attackers at the net for Thompson Rivers, with Meldrum serving this ball across. Gill with one hand able to get that up to Stothard, and one of the more impressive sets we've seen from Gill today. Gets that off, and she will be rewarded by going to get some high fives from the teammates.
To the bench.
Yeah, double substitution coming back. This was already planned, so nothing to do with that particular play, of course. Dimitric returning to the floor to serve the ball, and
yeah, you definitely want Dimitric to get her shots on the service line, but what a play by Stothard to speed up and go off one leg there, seeing that the pass was tight.
Here's Dimitric with those neon shoes, getting the ball across. Middle run by Cressy, now Dimitric. Back over to Plouffe and Leibich making the contact on the first ball. Dimitric diving forward, excellent defensive play. Free ball for Thompson Rivers in system. Meldrum, right side. Orlalila Tape, dug up though. It was a nice job by Grandia, but the Spartans are not going to be able to win the points. Good defense by Grandia. Thompson Rivers with the finish.
An amazing dig early there by Andulejevic from Victoria. You don't normally see the libero playing in position 6, and she's showing you why she's there. Very mobile, able to make that dig with her hands and keep the ball alive.
Grandia, first contact. Bolden tipping into the block. Spartans trying to reset, and it was Grandia who was calling off McBain, the libero. Grandia wanted that second ball. This is sent down the line, and this will be a Thompson Rivers point. It seemed there was a little bit of hesitation there as I was watching the lines person and then the referees, but I think we got it right.
Yeah, it was definitely, and also a net touch there by the Spartans, but and Dulejevic with another shift over there to cover her position 1 and make an incredible dig.
Dimitric, middle run by Plouffe. Now Plouffe will switch over to the right side. Stothard is in the middle on this rotation. Stothard going to Dimitric. Will it be a quick? No. It turns into a Plouffe right side attack. Meldrum. Tapping into the net.
Yeah, a great opportunity though. Like, I love that they're going aggressive. They're swinging to try to steal. They're not playing safe. Yeah, they're getting their opportunities here. Spartans are really lucky that they squeaked that point out. Big difference between 17-13 and 18-12. 18-12, it's kind of done and dusted at that point.
Maren Bolden. She went on that serving run in the opening set. Block going up, nice job there with Drieger and Stothard, the two blockers for the Spartans, putting up the defense, and Bolden back for her second serve in this rotation.
You can really see that press. We got a great point of view up here in the booth. Hands are over, hands are holding. Great block by the Spartans.
And that was Stothard and Drieger, but Bolden is going to go into the mesh. Still one timeout remaining for both teams.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. A couple missed opportunities by the Spartans. Now you've just made an incredible block. Hitters are maybe thinking about that a little bit. I'd love to see them keep that ball in play, but at the same time, you got to be aggressive.
Cressy is going to be off, so that will be a service error, and the Spartans will stay within 3 points. Again, 1 timeout remaining. And we will see a substitution. Claire Pakalek, who we saw in limited action yesterday, coming onto the floor for a service substitution in place of Isabella Stothard.
Yeah, from just down the road, Surrey, BC. That's where I grew up, so shout out to Surrey.
Well, you know, I grew up in Delta, and I always said, oh, you're from Surrey? Sorry to hear that.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I would tell people White Rock.
There we go, South Surrey. Meldrum.
Whoa!
One of the best plays we have seen so far from Dancheva. Quick middle run, no chance for the Spartans. And Pakalek done serving, and she will be subbed out.
We're going to need a break here to fix the crater in the floor after that one. Holy cow, that one almost went to the roof off the bounce.
I think that might have been my favorite middle attack that I have seen so far this weekend.
That was massive. Now you know the middle blockers are going to be thinking about her for the rest of the night.
Ward delivers an ace. And Thompson Rivers starting to pull away with this with a 5-point difference as we enter the late stages of this second set. Spartans coach Ryan Hofer still with 1 timeout.
Yeah, surprising he hasn't used it yet. See what happens here.
Dimitrick passes this ball up. Drieger. And this will be tight. Point for Thompson Rivers.
Yeah, I think time coming here now from Ryan Hofer. Good serve, a bit of a miss hit. Spartans did well to handle it, but that ball's just a little bit too tight. Instead of going for the recycle there, you could try to wipe, try to earn that point for your team. Attacker usually has the advantage coming in aggressively with their spike approach. But I think you called it. Tonight's going to be the match you were expecting last night.
Yeah, I was looking forward to this one, and I was also looking forward to another one on the out-of-town scoreboard. We can give you an update on this now from Saskatoon. The Saskatchewan Huskies.
No way.
With a victory in 5 sets over the UBC Thunderbirds. A huge victory for the Huskies. They are a good team. The UBC Thunderbirds also a very good team. But yes, a 5-set victory today for the Saskatchewan Huskies, getting some revenge after that 4-set loss to the Thunderbirds yesterday. So congratulations go out to the Huskies. 7 matches on the Canada West schedule today. All teams playing also on the men's side except for one. That's because Regina doesn't have a men's team. So this weekend, the Alberta Golden Bears draw out as the team that will start the year off with a bye. So perhaps a good timeout call by Ryan Hofer as Ward sends that into the mesh, and this will bring up Kaylee Plouffe to serve for Trinity Western with his Spartans down by 5.
Yeah, the tough rotation for the Wolfpack. This is when you really want a couple points. You got your P2 in the front row, and you can't do that. It's their worst rotation, and you give them a get it a jail-free card.
Yeah, Plouffe was the only player to pick up an ace for Trinity Western yesterday, and she'll be charged with a service error on this most recent attempt. And now Madison Machin, yeah, the pride of Delta, coming out there once again.
I thought you were the pride of Delta.
No. Definitely not, no. Here's Machin. Going to Bolden on the serve.
There we go.
Nice one by Graca. We talked about she's always finding the court there, but this one she actually puts some power into it. Good looking swing from Graca.
Yeah, great connection there. She's up early, and you can see her kind of hang, analyze the court, turn that one cross body. That's her best swing of the night.
Sienna Drieger, the pride of Manitoba, sends this ball over. 3 contacts made by Thompson Rivers. The Spartans will be out of system. Bolden having to readjust and then rolls this over. Lily Latepe with the first contact. Now Ward trying to tip this one up, and she goes off the block. 2 blockers were there. Graca making contact, and that falls on the Trinity Western side. Big point for Thompson Rivers. Now they're 2 points away from taking the second set.
Yeah, that's a massive, massive point. That would have been a great steal for the Spartans to get. A little bit of a misconnection with that back row set. If I'm the blockers for the Spartan, I'm thinking about maybe not blocking that and redirecting and affecting my defense.
Dancheva, just a few minutes ago.
Inside.
Absolute stunner out of the middle. This time it's Bolden with the kill for the Spartans.
Yeah, the second time we've seen her do that one, running that 33. And she's just such a powerhouse on the wing. and a bit of an undersized blocker who needs a full swing to get up and contain her. She moves right, and that ball goes to her left.
But there's another service error. We saw just moments ago Plouffe with a service error. Now Graca giving us set point for Thompson Rivers.
A bit of a theme for this set for the Spartans. Every time they get a little bit of momentum, they shoot themselves in the foot with a service error.
We were talking about the errors for Thompson Rivers in the opening set. The Spartans making errors. Dimitric going back over to Bolden, tipping this one in. Picked up by the setter Meldrum. 3 contacts by Thompson Rivers. Now Trinity Western in system. Middle run by Stothard. Medalivich going over to the left side. Nice pancake by Plouffe. Bolden sends it over shallow. Thompson Rivers with a free ball trying to finish things off. Tipped up down the line. Picked up by Dimitric. Bolden. She needs a big swing here. It is a big swing. A 2-ball over by Meldrum. Rather over by Thompson Rivers, and it will be the WolfPack winning this set. 25-18, the final. Trinity Western, Thompson Rivers getting set now for the 3rd set. Stay with us. You are watching U Sports Women's Volleyball live on Canada West TV, presented by BioSteel. Thank you once again for joining us from the Langley Events Centre. Just after 4 o'clock local time, Tim James and Dave Dooley, the call of this matchup between Trinity Western and Thompson Rivers. And Dave, it's the same starting lineup for Trinity Western in this third set, but you talked about if there was to be a switch, you'd be interested to see Sydney Gill get the start as the setter. Why is that?
Yeah, I think, she's had limited time in the double sub capacity, just 3 rotations last night, each set, and then today. Just Dimitrik's having a bit of a misconnection. You see it's got to be like 75% of her attackers' swings are off speed. It would be really interesting to see if they did the double sub the other way around, if Gill would have more success in setting up her hitters in optimal attacking positions.
And there was some of that last season, we should point out, because at that point it was undecided who was going to be the starting setter. Would it be Dimitrik, the rookie, or would it be the more experienced Sydney Gill? And eventually Gill going out with an injury, Dimitrik took over from there and has been the starter this season. We are back underway with Plouffe hitting from the right side. This ball tipped up, picked up by Plouffe. It'll be in system. Bolden out of the back row where she's had some success on this Saturday. And there's the dump, and Meldrum does it again.
This time with a libero in. Uh-oh. Hopefully McBain's okay. She's holding the back a little bit there. She did a full swan dive trying to get that one.
Well, that's a good point. We'll keep an eye on McBain, who's in the center of this serve receive now.
Do you serve her now after that? Best passer on the floor? Maybe not.
Millam. Instead, we'll go to Drieger, an overpass. So Thompson Rivers, regardless, will get something that they want from that. An early 2-0 lead.
At Thompson River, all 3 sets have started off very strong here. Different rotation for the Spartans. Starting with Dimitrik in position 6 instead. I think she started in 3, so they fully flipped.
I talked to Spartans coach Ryan Hofer about that because we already know that Trinity Western is going to nationals. They've already secured that. We've got that. Well, how much are you going to be playing with your lineup? And he says, I'm pretty sure I've got the lineup here, so maybe fine-tuning, but don't expect any drastic changes, was kind of the impression that I got from him. Here's Isabella Stothert, because, of course, they could play around with things knowing that they've already got their ticket. March 13th to 15th here at the LEC. Lila Tepe from the left side picking up the kill for Thompson Rivers.
Yeah, totally. Or is he just saying that to mess with other coaches? Who knows? He's got an ace up his sleeve.
Danchevan, her second season. Another sophomore would be Dimitrik. Sets up that ball going to Graka. And Graka's one of those players that has really stood out for me so far today. And I feel like quietly that she's not the flashiest player, Dave, but right now I believe there's her 6th kill at the end of the 2 sets, hitting 7-14. Also picked up an ace.
That's great attack efficiency, yeah.
There's Plouffe hitting to Millam. Lila Tepe rolling it over top of the block, picked up by a Raider. And there's Bolden out of the back. One contact and back over onto the Spartan side, and Graka looking for another kill. Let's see if she starts to see more of the volume. Down to the floor is Raider. And play is blown down.
Double contact call.
Double contact against Trinity Western. Unfortunate because I was getting into that set. That was a fun one. That rally, that is.
Yeah, that was a great rally. Would have been really interesting to see. And that's why I like NCAA is taking that away. Coaches can't get upset because, there's no double contacts called anymore. And you let the players finish the rally. WolfPack, we're going to get a free ball. They should finish that rally.
Plouffe having to readjust as she made the approach from the right side. First contact from Bolden. Now Dimitrik. Plouffe looking for the finish. And Alivich clapping her hands in frustration. It's the kill for Plouffe, and Trinity Western drawing back within 1.
Yeah, Elijah, she wanted that one. She had it. Just a little bit of a redirection off the block, and sometimes that's enough to throw you off and shanks.
Sienna Drieger, standing at 6 feet tall, delivers this ball across. Now Meldrum over to Ward. Dimitrik was going for the dump. Meldrum has had success with the dump. Dimitrik, not quite the same today. There's Bolden down the line with a bullet, and we are tied at 4.
The Bolden bullet, crossbody line. absolutely pump that thing. But yeah, you're talking about the heights here of some of these women. They're huge. They land from the block and they're still over the net in order to throw it back over.
We look at the tallest Spartan, actually. She's not on the court, but Peyton Lightfoot at 6'4". Isabella Stothard, starting middle, at 6'3". And this is going to go through. Point for Thompson Rivers. I believe some taller players actually on the Thompson Rivers side.
Yeah, we've got a couple 6'2", 6'5".
Then Shiva. Yeah, then Shiva at 6'5". Now, I'm a big pro wrestling fan. I always bring this up occasionally. So I think they kind of beef up some of the heights and the weights and that type of thing. I don't know if they do that in volleyball. You're a coach. Did you ever, kind of put a fib on the sheet? We'll talk about that in a moment here as Bolden tips this down the line. Couple of blockers up, and they're not going to be tested as Ward tilts her head back in frustration. She goes clean into the net.
Yeah, in terms of roster heights, I actually think I would maybe lie about it a little bit, but I would, go round down. I wouldn't want people to look at my roster and think, oh, those guys are nothing. They're tiny. We got them. And then all of a sudden we're bigger than they thought we were.
The opposite of pro wrestling. Gracco with the serve. We're back underway, tied at 5. Make that 6-5 now with Thompson Rivers earning the point off the Millam kill.
Yeah, Millam, really, look, her body's facing line, and she kind of went wrist away. Like, that's a tough ball to hit with power and super deceptive for the blockers and the defenders. Great swing.
Maya Cressy starting today in place of Faith Christensen, who had to start yesterday. Dimitric. Plouffe is going to score.
Yeah, WolfPack would want that one back. A little bit of a misconnection, mishit. Great effort to keep that ball alive, but only from one player. You need effort from everybody in order to keep those trouble plays alive.
Tiana Dimitric, the setter for the Spartans in the back row. Tough serve, picks up the ace.
And that's where she might not have the connection with her hitters like Gil was having, but man, her serve has been a weapon every time she goes back. And as a double sub, if you're the one coming off the bench, you only get to serve one time.
Dimitric with the ace. Trinity Western already ahead of what they had yesterday in aces, with aces today coming from Drieger, Bolden, Gracca. Dimitric will be off the mark on this one, however.
Oh, that was so close, though. She went line to line. It was out by a bee's wing.
Haven't heard that reference before. Bee's wing. Is that a volleyball thing?
It's usually something else. It's a tennis thing. But I went for wing instead.
Oh, I like it.
Yeah.
7-all here in the third set. We're tied 1 set apiece. Drieger pops this one up. It's a high roof here at the LEC, so no contact. Then a double jump there by Stothard. The timing was off on kind of an awkward play, and Stothard and Dimitric will have a quick chat after that one.
Yeah, super high pass. It's a tough ball to handle for Dimitric, but really, as a setter, you got to see your middle coming in peripherally and set her in rhythm.
Hale Ward at 6'2". Put some spin on the serve. McBain handles it well. Dimitric, big push over to the pin, and from the left side, setting it over was Bolden.
And you talk about your attackers having tools, and Bolden is really showing that she's got all the tools. Cross-court swing, line swing, two-handed flush, wipe off hands.
She's running out of the pipe as well.
Exactly. Someone you always got to think about if you're the WolfPack.
Bolden. Drieger sets over top of the one blocker being Meldrum. Meldrum going with a dump, and once again she does it.
Yeah, I don't know what the Spartans were watching there. You really saw that with the aggressive jump. Meldrum looked to be playing that ball over. It's a little bit different from her prep in other situations.
Millam, who got this set underway, back to serve once again. With the WolfPack leading by 1 point. Going down the line, picked up by Drieger. Stothard tips this over. The defense collapses with Early Latepe making contact for Thompson Rivers. Now Drieger over to Stothard. She gets this one to go, and a one-on-one gets the best of Dincheva.
Yeah, she saw that her position one swing was taken away, and she went wrist away back. Smart heads-up play. Both setters are doing a great job of involving their middles. That just makes it so much harder for the middle blocker on the other side of the net.
Claire Pakaluk entering this match once again as a service substitution. Pakaluk rookie out of Surrey. Lily Latepe couldn't get through. Second time a charm. He's going to tip over top of the block, takes out the setter, and picks up the point as well, as Dimitric is only able to catch a piece of it.
Yeah, Dimitric's got to have that one. But really what sold it, Lily Latepe is coming in hard, looking like she's swinging like she did on that first one. And last second, she pops that one down the line for the tip and the score.
Dancheva, middle for Thompson Rivers. Sandulivich, the libero, off right now. 6 white shirts out there for Thompson Rivers. Here's Dimitric going over to Drieger. A couple of blockers up against Drieger. Thompson Rivers able to settle things down out of system. But it's the block for Trinity Western with the last laugh. Plouffe and Graca putting up the block. We are tied at 10.
Pretty sweet set there from Dancheva, just a little bit tight, but nice to see her middle blocker taking their hands out and doing a little sideways fancy set like that.
As we mentioned, this is Sydney Gill's debut weekend back at the LEC this season. After spending time off, great to see her back in the lineup. Gill. Now Ward will send this over. Gill going over to Graca.
Good call.
But the connection not there. A carry is going to be called on TWU.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of kind of throws from the Spartans, but that one's a little bit different. You can see she kind of grabs it with her hand and then comes into a different direction. If the ball comes to rest in your hand, it is a carry violation. I think that was a good call by Brad Willard.
Middle attack once again, and Graca, was she able to get that over? The Thompson Rivers bench is up in arms. A little difficult to see from our vantage point, but what did you see, Dave?
Yeah, I agree with the WolfPack on that one. I didn't really see for sure, but what I love is, you know, your bench can holler. They can get upset, and but nobody on the court did that. Everyone on the court just kept playing. Ultimately, you had a chance to score in transition, and you did.
Entering this set, I had talked about Emma Graca and the way she's playing and finally having a good performance, but now here's the changeup with Peyton Lightfoot coming in the middle position. Let's see what Lightfoot can do. She's going to get set right away. No, that's not the case. But maybe she'll get the block up. Lily Latepe making the swing.
What
up
a
on the
dig.
right side is Ward. Good defense by the Spartans, and then it was an attack made by the libero, McBain.
Yeah, great dig. But not only make the dig, but then the ball comes right back to her. She swings and puts them in trouble, almost gets the kill. They're asking for an over violation. I didn't really see it that way. I thought that ball was right on the plane. Setter played it, but both kind of had a play on the ball. If that ball breaks the plane, both players have a right to it.
But McBain, you may remember that you caught the play better than me. Maybe you hurt her back or tweaked it a little bit diving, but she just had a great rally. This will be last touch off of the Spartans at a point for Thompson Rivers.
Yeah, she's still every now and then touching the back, maybe feeling something, but you know, it's Saturday. You get through this match on adrenaline, and then you got a whole 6 days to recover before you play again.
Yeah, Thompson Rivers will be heading into the bye next week, so they'll have some time. Trinity Western, not the case. They will be back in action. There's Bolden looking to send that cross court and land in, but it goes out instead.
Oh, I love that swing for her. She doesn't miss by too much. She knew exactly what she had and almost hit it. You can really feel the body language on the Spartans changing significantly, especially from that first set.
Yeah, the Spartans taking that first set convincingly, not as convincingly as what we saw in the second set yesterday with Thompson Rivers dominating, but 25-17 in the opening set. Then Thompson Rivers coming back 25-18, and here we are with a 3-point lead for Thompson Rivers in the third set. Tim James and Dave Dooley with the call. Great to have you with us on your Saturday. An earlier start. Now, you had mentioned earlier on, Dave, that you got a child as well, Wilson. You know, I got a kid back at home as well. These early starts from a family perspective,
way better.
I love them.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
also a big BC Lions fan. They've started playing those 4 o'clock games. in the last few years. Love that because my son can go to that. So hopefully Trinity Western continues on with this. Now, that's from the kind of selfish perspective in the sense that, hey, as a family guy, yes, it works for me. I wonder about for the players, though, because it is a change. It is an early start to the day.
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, a little bit different. Like for me, coming from the Pac West in the college game, I always wanted our practices to be at 8 o'clock because that's when we played. I want my bodies getting used to performing at that time. Yeah, I'm not sure what their practice schedule is, but I think generally they do practice earlier in the day, so their bodies could be primed for this.
We're back underway after that Trinity Western timeout.
I might have to go, yeah.
And Olivich with his second ball. Ward going to work. Drieger takes it in the back. Now Gill is standing set over to Bolden. Comes right back at Bolden, and she's unable to get under that one. And the first point out of the timeout goes to Thompson Rivers.
Great block there by Ward. I just love her point of view here. Sometimes it's really hard to appreciate the blocking work, but she's over and holding and nice and still. Nowhere to go. That's also very easy to defend around, and that's the bigger thing. More than getting the point is what kind of shadow do you draw for your defender to dig around.
Urlalila Tepe to serve for Thompson Rivers as the Spartans go back with a double sub, and Dimitric back as the center. Gets this ball over to Bolden, who rolls that over, and Edilivich unable to get to that ball, so another kill for Bolden, an assist for Dimitric, and a point for Trinity Western to put them within 3.
Yeah, Edilivich really is going to want that one back. She's the libero there. She's their top defender. Bolden has just been blocked. You're kind of thinking, oh, maybe off speed's coming.
Here's Emma Gracka back into the match in place of Peyton Lightfoot, who took her spot in the front row. A change that Coach Ryan Hofer made when things weren't going well for the Spartans. Now here's Plouffe, launched up by Andrew Livich. Millam going into the block. Stothard was there, back onto the Trinity Western side. Now Dimitric, they're in system. Bolden with a roll shot, hit into the pot but picked up. Stothard. Dimitric, will it be a back row run? Who was going to take it there? Wasn't clear, and now a chance for Thompson Rivers to hit in system. Once again, Meldrum, this time right side. Ward going to work, couldn't finish. Here's Plouffe, hammers that to the back, and Olivich with the dig. Now Millam gets it over top of the block, an extended rally with Trinity Western trailing by 3. Make that trailing by 2 because Bolden finishes it off.
That's an exhausting rally. I don't know how many swings they had on each side of the floor there, but that's our rally of the match so far for sure.
And this is what I was expecting, Dave, coming into this weekend. Let's see more of that action. These are two very good teams, and what we saw yesterday was not the true sense of what you can expect from the number 7 and the number 4 nationally. Gracka sending the ball across, and Meldrum, it'll be a quick middle run. Cressy sends that out of play. And now Coach Chad Grimm might be looking at a timeout. And yes.
You've got 2 left. Might as well stop the momentum while you still have a lead. And you're talking about something positive here in the timeout. You know, let's get one pass and we're up by 2 rather than waiting until you're down.
So Thompson Rivers with a 1-point lead. And here we are live at the Langley Events Centre. This is the home, of course, for volleyball, basketball, and there's also hockey just on the other side of the walls. And earlier on, it was the Trinity Western Spartans in women's hockey defeating McEwen 3-2. Now, I do wonder if there are some of the fans, I don't know if you get a free pass, if you can just go from hockey into volleyball, but if that's the option, that would be awesome.
That
anyway,
would make sense, yeah.
Already some success here, but here's the big one for you, Dave, and I don't think it's going to impact us necessarily because this match starts so early, but there is a Vancouver Giants game on the other side tonight. And I always say, if the match goes a little late on the men's side, and it did last night, I got to get going to try to beat that traffic, and thankfully I was able to get out of Dodge and beat some of that. But the Vancouver Giants playing again tonight, so the Langley Events Centre, a busy happening place, the parking lot. Great that we've already got our spots, however. Thompson Rivers already taking their spots on the court. They take the timeout, but Chad Grimm not as much to say as the Spartans had with Ryan Hofer as the head coach.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool to see everything that's grown here at the Langley Events Centre. You know, you got the Bandits here now, you got the soccer, you got Trinity Western, the Giants. There's lots to see here.
Gracka goes down to Livich. Ward tipping over top of the block, taking out at the center. Second ball from number 2, Drieger. Now Bolden hitting into the block. Millam goes over to Ward. Nice delivery. Gets that by Gracka down the line, and Ward picks up the kill. First point out of the timeout going to Thompson Rivers.
Yeah, that's like 4 or 5 times she's gone to that swing, that 5-6, super high contact. Really, there's no defender in that position. If she goes over the block, that's an auto kill.
Cressy going to Drieger. And Dimitri Bolden steps that over top of the block, taking out the setter. Still a decent attack, good attack made by Thompson Rivers. However, this is not good enough that it lands in. It goes out of play. Point for Trinity Western.
Now they had their swing for it, not out by much. Good attempt and a great set by the middle there. Sometimes when the libero is off, those situations taking out a setter can be a little hairy.
We saw Dimitri with a service error earlier on this set. Gets this ball across. Now Meldrum sets up her middle, but Shiva hits into the block. Nicely done. Plouffe part of the block for Trinity Western.
I think that was a help from Plouffe. Really nice help, and that's the advantage of having a player with middle experience going onto the one of the pins. Their read blocking ability is amazing. Those were quick, fast hands.
Dimitri flipping the tape, coming across. Will this turn into a joust? No, Stothert didn't even go, and it's a right side finish coming from Ward. Point for Thompson Rivers.
Yeah, Meldrum was still back row, so smart awareness from the Spartans not to jump with the back row setter. Let's see if they're aware now. I think she's come to the front row here. Well, maybe she was front row. Never mind.
Here's Meldrum at the net. It's Ward serving the ball, and it will be an ace for Ward.
Yeah, especially with that spin, going to the left of the server, coming into the libero. McBain's got to take charge of that situation.
McBain is the libero for Trinity Western, who plays in a serve-receive. Sophia Rader is the one for passing, and this will be a service error.
Yeah, for people watching at home, they're thinking, oh, it's service errors. But if you're a server and you got an ace and then you get an error, that's actually a really good ratio. You still stole. You've done more than your job in that situation.
Meldrum. Millam getting away from the block, hits this ball out of play.
And both teams are really tightening up a little bit here. We're seeing more errors. We got a game to 7. I think it's going to go to whichever team kind of cleans up attacking.
Looks like we should be in for a good finish here in the third set, and we thank you so much for joining us on Canada West TV. This ball is going to be sent out no touch, and even the call coming from Ryan Hofer right next to the lines people here.
Yeah, it's everything the Wolfpack would want. Great pass, great set, maybe just a little low. Let's see if she repeats this set, if she gets another good pass.
Meldrum. That's Millam going to Bolden, who pops this one up on first contact. Now Drieger looking to set this ball with 2 blockers there. Dimitri back pedaling. Bolden out of the back, but the timing was a little bit off. She had to stay behind the 3-meter line. Now Ward rockets that to the back. No touch. Goes directly out. Point, Trinity Western.
Yeah, I like the timeout here. And that's 3 or 4 attack errors in a row from the Wolfpack. You're just giving away points.
Well, the momentum, Dave, is completely changed. It was Trinity Western taking the first time out in this third set when it was a 3-point deficit. It was 14 serving 11 for Thompson Rivers. And the Spartans able to respond after that timeout, and now here they have a 2-point lead in the late stages of the set.
I don't know if you remember the TSN turning point.
Yes.
Yeah, for me right now it's that Plouffe help. They just showed the replay a second ago there. But, you know, in the middle, thinks she has an open swing. All of a sudden her hands come out of nowhere. And ever since, it's been attack errors, ever since that point.
We'll see if Thompson Rivers can get back into rhythm, as they didn't have as much to say during that last time out, but Coach Chad Grimm, he's knelt down right now talking to his team. And we'll break the huddle first. I was going to ask as well, if you have any perspective, talking about the officials, they've got those red shirts. Is that something new they're going with? Because I've seen that before, but they're inconsistent with that.
Yeah, I think it is something. I'm not sure. I think it's a way to identify who is a national referee or who is a candidate for a national referee. I know, shout out to Gabe Duvall there on the lines. They've got their red shirts on, and he's working on becoming a national candidate here. So he did the match last night, Capilano Blues match that the Blues won in 5 over Douglas.
Meldrum able to stay off of the net, but Thompson Rivers unable to make an attack. Now Dimitric, big push over to Drieger, and Drieger able to get that to trickle down the net and fall down for a Spartans point.
Oh, Denshiva was so close to that one. She's wondering how that squeaked under her. And you gotta, like, sometimes you're gonna get bad bounces, but what can't happen is that body language. Gotta keep it positive, and positive things will happen.
Bolden going to Millam on the serve. Left side. That was approached by Denshiva. Heading out to the left side, now she's in the middle. Ward rolls it over top of the block, picked up by Bolden. Dimitric, big push over to the pin, and Drieger goes into the net.
That's too bad. Drieger, opportunity to win another point and keep this roll going. Interesting from the WolfPack there, though. Denshiva, a metal blocker, was swinging out the left side in that situation. Trying some new things out of the timeout. Not many middle players are going to be swinging an outside ball. Let's see how Trinity responds here. This is a huge point.
19 serving 21. Machin gets the ball across.
Yeah, just a tough connection. You can see everything was good. Pass was good, rhythm, timing, but it's just way off the net. But what I love is Smile. They've set this ball a million times. Oh, and you can't do that if you're the WolfPack.
No, and Trinity Western, I mean, it's maybe that side of the court. I'm just thinking that's the south side of the court. And the Spartans, as they were trying to make a push, as they were trying to come back in the second set, you may remember Plouffe had the service error. I believe Gracka had one as well. And now we're seeing service errors as Thompson Rivers is trying to come back, now trailing by 2. Isabella Stothard serving for the Spartans.
It's funny how she did a little look to her arm before she served that one. I don't know if she always does that.
I believe it is part of it. That was very defined, though. I wonder if it was a little more than usual. 21 serving 22 as more fans trickle into the LEC, getting set for this doubleheader. The men's volleyball team watching this from the second deck. Dimitric. Here's Plouffe going down the line. Plouffe, perfection from the right side, puts the Spartans up by 2.
Yeah, she's really putting her team on her back here. Great swing down the line, taking on the middle who just served. So not only a great swing, but a great swing at the weaker defender who's now liberoed off.
Kaylee Plouffe, graduate of Jasper Place in Sherwood Park. Lily Latepe gets the side out for Thompson Rivers.
Yeah, great swing by Lila Tepe, but that's just smart setting, finding your top attacker against the bottom blocker of the other side. Expect a healthy dose of left side from the WolfPack here with Dimitric in the front row.
Yeah, Lila Tepe in the front row on the Thompson Rivers side. Is she going to get the ball from Meldrum? Yep, it's pushed over to the pin. She's going to work. Dug up, though, by McBain. Nice defensive play. Drieger able to make a good connection, sending that to position 6. Meldrum. There's Ward coming from the right side and scores for Thompson Rivers. Oh, we're in for a good finish in the third set.
We got a battle here. McBain showing that back is just fine, doing a full sprawl. Smart timeout here by Hofer.
Second and final timeout taken by Trinity Western in this set. The first one, that was back when it was a 3-point lead for Thompson Rivers, 14 serving 11. The Spartans were able to change the momentum following that one. Thompson Rivers had to fight back, and here we are, 23-all. And this is the final timeout, so we are in for a good finish.
Yeah, and I love the timeout here rather than waiting one more point. The narrative is so different as a coach. You're talking about one side out, and we have a chance to win this set, 24-23. Whereas if you wait one more point, you're talking about, hey, guys, we really need this point, otherwise this set's over.
I was going to talk about McBain. One of my favorite stories, McBain's mother came up to me. This was, I believe, a few months ago, and said, hey, nice to meet you. We listened to you and that type of thing. And said, when McBain was first coming to Trinity Western, saw a big banner outside of the LEC with the Spartans women's volleyball team featured. And I think the comment was kind of made, well, maybe that could be you one day. And sure enough, outside on my way in, I was looking up today, and yep, McBain is up there with Plouffe and Bolden all setting up the Women's Volleyball Championship coming in March. So McBain, the real deal, a big part of this Trinity Western team. She's in her 5th and final season. So a shout out to any of the family listening right now in Burlington, Ontario.
Yeah, it's pretty cool to end things 5th year knowing you're going to be at Nationals. What a timeout. Another coach's point for Hofer.
Now this will be a big point. And I mentioned earlier on that main event, Maren Bolden, she's been to Nationals, but that was 2023, and they came up just short. It was UBC winning the championship at War Memorial Gym. So Bolden would like to get that national championship. Could this be the year for Bolden? Alila Tepe going away from the block, hits it out, and it will be the Spartans. Back-to-back points out of that timeout, and they will take it 25-23 in the 3rd set. And the home side now leading 2-1. The ladies are smiling. We'll see what happens in the 4th set. You are watching U Sports Women's Volleyball live on Canada West TV, presented by BioSteel. Welcome back inside the Langley Events Centre. Trinity Western with a 2-1 lead over Thompson Rivers. Tim James and Dave Dooley with the call. And Dave, let's talk about that finish there. It was 23-all, a timeout call by Ryan Hofer. What did the Spartans need to do to finish?
Well, I hear, yeah, they really got to focus on this first couple points here. They've kind of started poorly every set. They need to have a strong start right out of the gate here. I think they got the right server on the line to do that. They've rotated the rotation again. Let's see if Dimitric can start it off.
Tiana Dimitric to get us back underway. here at the LEC. Serving on the south side of the gym. Nice delivery. And Leibich with the first contact. 2 blockers up. But this is going to work its way through as Bolden and Stothard couldn't slow the attack for Thompson Rivers.
Yeah, point for Christensen running behind. Haven't seen her involved in the action too much. Great to get her involved early. Now people are going to be thinking about her.
Christensen sending this over to Drieger. Plouffe from the middle position then was just sliding over to her right, but gets that kill from the middle, and there you go. Plouffe, one of those players, as mentioned, it was last season she transitioned from the middle to the right side. So very familiar, making those attacks from the middle. Backpedaling is Meldrum. Big push over to the pin, and Ulalila Tepe is shut down with Plouffe, and a jumping Stothard. Very excited. Spartans bench is going as well, and I think the Spartans can feel this. This would be a big victory if they can pull this off today after yesterday's straight sets loss to Thompson Rivers.
And part of starting Dimitrik back allows Plouffe to be in that front row right side. It's a good matchup. Here it is again.
Dimitrik pushes that over to Plouffe, and Plouffe sends this through the back. No touch.
Swing and a miss. Yeah, it's a little game of cat and mouse with the coaches here, trying to find the right matchup. Should be really interesting if this was to go to 5 sets. Is where do you start?
Now both setters are in the back row as Meldrum gets this ball across, and Dimitrik will send this to Plouffe. Plouffe volleys it over. Ward with a big swing, no touch. Point Trinity Western as the Spartans take a 3-2 advantage in the 4th set.
That's another little misconnection from the Spartans. They have to just set that ball over. The Wolfpack really need to execute on that free ball. Something I tell my players all the time. In Brazil, they don't call it a free ball. They call it showtime.
Do they really?
Yeah.
And remember to say that next time I get a chance. Lalila Tepe hits into the block, and it's the Spartans. Back-to-back points, now taking a 4-2 lead. Isabella Stothard once again to put this ball in play.
Yeah, a lot of block points for the Spartans. They're really manufacturing points at the net here. That can translate into some of these hitting errors we're seeing as well.
And Leibich with the first contact. Ooh. A block going up once again. Plouffe and Garaka. The 2 Spartans going up to the net. Here we are, 5-2 for Trinity Western.
I don't think I'm swinging line anymore when Plouffe is up there on that right side pin. Her block is massive. You can see her middle blocking experience translate here.
Plouffe standing at 6'1". Stothard serving the ball at 6'3". Meldrum, there's the push back over to Plouffe once again.
She's got the turkey, 3 in a row.
Wearing Hillary Howe's old number 6, Kaylee Plouffe with another block. A 4-point run for Trinity Western and a timeout call by Thompson Rivers.
Definitely the best start to a set the Spartans have had here tonight. And it's just, I think that's 4 block points for the Spartans, 3 of them for Plouffe.
I believe you just said before that most recent rally, I would not set over to that side. Sure enough, they did. And Plouffe, sure enough.
Yeah, run something else. Run a 33 or run like an inside ball so your attacker's wanting to swing cross court. But, man, if you're taking her on, maybe look for edges, maybe look for a recycle. But you can't hit through bone, as my mentor coach always said. Shout out to Charles Parkinson.
Oh, there we go. I was going to mention, too, that Isabella Stothard will be the player who's getting us back underway once the teams hit the floor once again. And initially, I thought going into this weekend that she was going to be out injured. I had heard that Izzy is injured, and so I thought, okay, Isabella Stothard. Now, I don't know all the nicknames with the team, but they're, of course, Isabel Michault-Coe. Yeah. She is the player out injured. So I was asking Coach Hofer about that, like, how did I get confused? What's going on? And Hofer says, no. Isabella Stothard, her nickname is Bella. So there you go. I've got to get some of the lingo.
You got Bella.
You got Izzy and Bella.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to be with Izzy in Newfoundland. She represented our women's side in Canada Summer Games for beach. Amazing beach player.
That is Isabel Michault-Coe, and she is scratched today, off injured. Isabella Stothert getting us back underway with a 4-point lead for Trinity Western. And there you go. It's not going to be Plouffe going up for a block and something else. And something else works.
It's a little unorthodox running a bit of a high ball in the middle there. You don't see that too often, but sometimes you got to do something unorthodox when you have a wall like Plouffe up there.
Plouffe is still in the front row. She'll now set up in his serve-receive. Urlalila Tepe is going to go to Plouffe. Dimitric, middle run by Grack. A good connection between those two.
Yeah, great swing. They're out of the middle. They're really attacking position 1, either when they're swinging or when they're off speeding. Lots are going to position 1, and it's working for them tonight.
Kaylee Plouffe, who had an ace yesterday.
Ooh.
No aces today.
Almost, though.
Now Dimitric takes the first ball, diving forward is Rader, and then who's going to get that second ball? And Bolden was doing the splits. It was just kind of like you have so many players around, but nobody touched it.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Maybe jump over your player there instead of doing the splits. I don't know. Every team will have a system. If the setter digs the ball, someone else is going to take that second ball, and it looks like the position 6 takes it for Trinity.
Dimitric, middle run by Gracka. Nicely done and nicely dug up by Meldrum. Out of system, Thompson Rivers was able to make the attack. Now Dimitric going over to Driga, reaching back, going down the line, but the pin is moving, and this will be a Thompson Rivers point.
Well, that's too bad. I really love that set from Dimitric. People who don't know, she put a little topspin on that ball. That's totally intentional. It's like when you're spike serving, you put spin on the ball. If you're an attacker and you see that, you can be a little bit more aggressive.
Now Dimitric over to Drieger. Christensen with his second ball. Now sent over deep to Bolden. Drieger looking to tip over top of the block. Thompson Rivers struggling with that, and then Urlalila Tepe hits that into the net as she was coming out of the back.
Yeah, that was a weird one. I must have missed a contact there. I thought that was just the second contact, or maybe they're running the 2-ball out of the pipe like you see a lot these days in the men's game. But she looked like she wasn't convinced either. She's having a little laugh about it.
Sienna Drieger, the server for Trinity Western, with the home side leading by 3 points in the 4th set, up 2-1. And now the Spartans will advance that lead to 4.
Yeah, just a little bit tight for Meldrum. A nice serve here. Meldrum has done a good job handling some of these tight balls. Really impressed by her one-handed ability, but she's not able to get enough height on that right side.
Drieger, float serve going down the line, Meldrum. Now big push over to the right side, and it's a good finish by Ward, but a nice set by Meldrum as she had to cover some distance coming from the far side of the court.
Yeah, that's not easy to do. It's almost a 9-meter set from sideline to sideline. Against the flow, everyone's thinking that wall is going easy left side. Got to be an athlete to be able to make that play.
Meldrum is one of the top setters in the country. Ward, top spin, and that goes into the mesh.
Yeah, you can see how far back Ward is. She's got like almost 2 meters from the end line. Tells me maybe her toss isn't as aggressive as she would like it, which means her approach isn't aggressive. And her serve's not aggressive.
Just one libero out there on the court right now. And Olivich, this will stay away from her as Urlalila Tepe is the first to make contact. And then Ward's going to send this out the back, no touch. So Gracka will be back for her second serve. No liberos out there, of course, for the Spartans as middles went front to back.
Yeah, the Wolfpack really have to be careful here. Maybe would have used a timeout. Spartans have been trending really positively in the second half of sets.
And Thompson Rivers still with 1 timeout remaining after taking the first when they were down 6-2. Urlalila Tepe coming out of the back, picking up the point, and TRU draws within 4.
Yeah, Coach Grimm knows his athletes. They're fine. We'll side out.
Coach Grimm, more than 100 wins in his history with the Thompson Rivers University Wolfpack. Dimitric, middle run by Stothert. She scores.
Stothert going to position 5. We haven't seen that too much from the Spartans, and one of their best connections of the night. It's out of the setter's hands and down to the floor really quick.
Back to the top of the order for the Spartan servers with Dimitric, who got us underway in this fourth set. It's a 5-point lead. Dimitric sends this ball across. A nice serve. Meldrum having to come to the backcourt to make that set. Down to the floor was Rader. An excellent dig by the Spartans libero. Well, that's actually... Woo! Now the set from Dimitric. And Rader hitting the floor.
Meldrum, super creative setter, getting involved in the offense there. She has one push set deep that's recovered by the Spartans, and the next one off one leg to score. We've seen a good variety of offense to her setting game.
This brings up Christensen. And Christensen, who did not start this match, getting the ball across. Bolden tipping this one in. Difficulty for TRU to handle. And it's a 5-point lead now for Trinity Western.
Yeah, Meldrum at the net there, old 5'10", a little bit undersized. Bolden on that tight ball is able to just throw it down. Setters are both doing a great job of finding their matchups.
Bolden going to Erlili Latepe. Stepping around is Cressy, and this is sent out. So once again, Bolden will be back to serve, as right now, I just look down here, Dave, and I'm seeing the WolfPack men's volleyball team. They just showed up there warming up and bouncing around. But, hey, man, we still got some time here. Not just in this set, but who knows?
Yeah,
this
you
thing could
kind
go
of hate that if you're the girls' team and you see your boys getting going.
Meldrum and reaching
what a
forward
stretch.
there. Was a nice play by Rader. Now Rader once again, like a hockey goalie doing the splits, getting underneath that one. Bolden tipping over top of the block. Nice reach forward by Ward to keep the ball alive. Erlili Latepe, and then diving forward once again. A nice defensive play by Rader. The American dream. And the Spartans will score the point.
Rader, 3 digs in that rally, starting with that stretch pancake. Spartans are going with the 2 libero system, and you can see why she's out there for defense. She's picking up everything like a Hoover.
Erlili Latepe going over top of the block, taking out Dimitric. Second ball from Rader, and Bolden with a big hit, but handled in the back by Ward. Erlili Latepe seeing the block there, and like a game of dodgeball, Rader gets out of the way. The Spartans are rolling, and Chad Grimm says, that's enough. He's using his second and final timeout. The Spartans are up big in the fourth set by 8 points.
Yeah, a bit of a frustration swing for the WolfPack there, that everything's getting dug, every single swing, so you start to think you got to do a little bit more, and that's when the errors creep into play.
We mentioned that the men's volleyball team is getting ready. I'd like to point out it's the Thompson Rivers team that's kind of getting energized here. The Trinity Western team, I don't know, they might have gone back to the locker room, seeing that this one could go a little bit more time. Checking the out-of-town scoreboard, we mentioned earlier on the big news that the Saskatchewan Huskies defeated the UBC Thunderbirds in 5 sets. So a valuable 2 points for Saskatchewan. Other matches you have on the go, the Alberta Pandas, who swept Regina yesterday. They are ahead of the Regina Cougars 1-0. And then not too far from us in Abbotsford, the Fraser Valley Cascades are leading the Brandon Bobcats 1-0. It was the Cascades winning in 4 sets yesterday. And in women's volleyball, it's exciting, Dave, because you mentioned the Canada West is so competitive. And there will be 4 seeds from the Canada West at Nationals. You get Trinity Western, you get the Canada West champion, you have 2 other seeds as well.
Yeah,
Canada West.
You just hope that Trinity Western makes that semifinal. If you're the other teams in the semifinal, then you know you're going.
Cressy able to get this through, and once again for the second time this set, off of a Chad Grimm timeout, Thompson Rivers scores first. Setter to the back row for the WolfPack. Dimitric, middle run by Stothert. Stothert will be up next to serve. If she can get the point here. It's a middle run, sending that down, and she wins the one-on-one.
Another swing to position one. They've really identified a weakness there, and they're exploiting it. Wolfpack almost got their hands over for that one, but just missed it.
You know, I was all hyped for Stothard as well, saying she's going to be serving next, but nope, I stand corrected as Claire Pakaluk will come in and take her position. Service substitution for Pakaluk. 6 blue shirts out there for the Spartans. And Olivich, the only libero out there, with his second ball for TRU. Then Lily Tepe hits the ball hard, and the Spartans unable to return it. Point for Thompson Rivers, and Trinity Western will switch things once again with Pakaluk.
A good touch by Pakaluk there. Almost had that ball. So hard coming off the bench. You're ice cold. You get an opportunity to make the dig.
Now Lily Tepe, the pride of Turkey, with something not quite to be proud about as she was trying to go down the line but sends that too far to the left. No more timeouts for Chad Grimm. Thompson Rivers, they have some substitutions to remain, but hey, it's the Spartans making a substitution. This is the double sub with Sydney Gill coming out there to put this ball in play, as Kaylee Plouffe will step off with Tiana Dimitric. The usual double sub, something that Spartans coach Ryan Hofer has done for a number of years with different setters. Gill unable to get under that one. Cressy with a nice delivery out of the middle.
That's a smart way to get everybody in and also to get everyone a little bit of a rest, right? Plouffe has been, some high energy points, big swings, big blocks. She knows every set she's got 3 rotations of a little break. That can let her go a little bit harder, kind of like hockey players playing shift work.
Big set over by Gill to Drieger. Gill taken out. Second ball coming from McBain, and number 2, Drieger able to find that with about a foot to spare. Nice delivery, and the Spartans coming close to taking this 4th set.
That's a great seeing eye swing right into that corner. Hit it deep, make them weep.
Drieger with a good serve, and tracking it at the net was Gracka, and Drieger will go back once again. Gracka, I mentioned, she's quietly having a nice match here. Not too flashy of a player, but she has put up some consistency, and I'm going to hit refresh and check the latest numbers. Gracka, she's gone down to hitting .500 now. 8 kills on 14 attacks.
So that's all Drieger, though. 2 in a row, overpasses. Those go down as kills for the other player, but it's her doing all the work.
Spartans on a 3-point run.
Let's see if Drieger can do 3 now.
Drieger, or Lalila Tepe, able to handle that one. And then Ward with an impressive swing to position 6, picks up the kill from the right side, giving Thompson Rivers some life. They have a lot of climbing to do with no timeouts remaining. But they are a team that we have seen this weekend put up a show. What was it again on free ball? Showtime?
Showtime.
Showtime. I got to remember to do that.
Magic Johnson.
Here's Gill. Bolden puts some spin on it. Now Meldrum going with the dump. She's had success today, but not this time. Bolden going big, hits into the block. Bolden's second ball.
Nice set.
This going over to Saida. And Olivich down to the ground to pick it up, and then Ward going off the block. An extended rally with the Spartans leading by 9 points. Now make it 8 points as Christensen, who did not start this match, comes in and picks up a big block for TRU.
Yeah, they're going to need to string some of those together now. Really, if you're the Wolfpack, you can't be thinking about getting 8 points on one ball here. Just one at a time, chipping away at this lead.
Ward puts some spin on the serve, easily handled by Bolden. Middle run by Gracka, picks up the kill. Her 9th kill of the day.
Nice run, Gracka there with the back quick. Middle blockers just don't know where to go. You think that ball's going to Bolden, trying to do a little isolation play, but nope.
Emma Gracka in her second season. Meldrum is set from the 3-meter line. Millam pops this one up. This goes way up, stays away, though, from that basketball hoop that hangs a little lower from the roof. Meldrum. Gracka doing the splits. Couldn't dig that ball. And TRU picks up the point with a substitution coming up. Millam will switch places.
You can see the body language from the Wolfpack, though, almost giving up here. Like, great swing. They score that point, but there's really no celebration at all.
Machen brought in with a serve substitution. She needs to go on a run here for her team. Make the city of Delta proud.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that one will do it. And I imagine, I was looking at the crowd here, Dave, and I see there was, at least yesterday I noticed a little more, some orange in the crowd. So it's not like the Wolfpack fans are all hiding. There are some here.
Yeah, 2 BC teams, of course. They both have a lot of athletes from BC, a lot of athletes from this area.
Not always the best time to make a trip down to Coquihalla. I work for Ministry of Transportation. Trust me, that's that is a story in itself.
Yeah, no, I had a friend traveling on Christmas Eve, flat tire. Two little kids, a flat tire, and nobody open Christmas Eve to help them out.
Yep. Second ball coming from McBain. Bolden hitting into the block, and there you go. You're talking about the body language, and I'm starting to see it from TRU with Christensen and Meldrum getting up to put up that block. They are within reach, I could say. They're down by 5.
Well, Mike coming in here, that's a great sub to just kind of inject some new energy into this game. A team who's maybe thinking that this is over, and all of a sudden, service specialist says, not yet.
TRU bench clapping their hands. There was some excitement just moments ago after winning the point. Now Dimitric. There's the run to Stothard. Meldrum. Christensen hitting off of the block. Dimitric. There's Bolden hanging in the air, and comes right back down on the Spartan side again. Christensen, Meldrum, the block for TRU, and Spartans coach Ryan Hofer says that's enough as he looks up at the scoreboard. It's a 4-point difference.
Yeah, he reversed the double sub. Now he's taking a timeout. All of a sudden, you're thinking about going home, and we got ourselves a ball game here.
So again, the Thompson Rivers WolfPack men's volleyball team, it looks like they've settled down. Oh, maybe a little bit. I mean, they're just excited to get out there and play for the rematch, and hopefully you're excited too to stick around on Canada West TV. We will have that one following this women's match. Will it go possibly to 5 sets? Thompson Rivers is making a push as they have been on a run. 5 straight points for Thompson Rivers.
Well, it's a tough thing being the men watching this match and getting ready to go. Their match time's 5 o'clock. So they're going to get the minimal amount of time following this game to get on. So they have to make sure they're warm.
That's a good point. Although sometimes, and we're not sure the exact cause of it, but there's a little bit of a delay setting up the net between the women's and the men's match, and we experienced that yesterday because we had a straight sets win on the women's side, so we should be starting earlier on time for the men's. Instead, the men's was pushed late, and it was just getting that net set up here at the LEC. Dimitric. Bolden tipping over top of the block, or Lily Letepe, the first to make contact. Now Machen standing up to make that attack, and Bolden gets that through to score. Bolden puts the Spartans back up by 5.
Great swing by Bolden there. Here, big shout out to Machen. Great service run coming off the bench, and got to swing that ball over from the A-ball position. She did her job. Let's see if they can side out now.
Dimitric rotating to the serving position for the 3rd time in this match, or rather this set, that is. This is going to be sent out the back, and Dimitric will continue to serve with match point.
And that's a hitting error, but that's Plouffe affecting the play with her humongous block. She doesn't get credit for that, but I'm giving it to her.
Here's Dimitric. The Spartan faithful raising an arm in the air, and they're not going to get the point that they want here, as Dimitric will be off on the serve. Not her first service error today. She'll now set up in the back row and get ready to race forward to try to set this ball for the winning point, but we'll see if Christensen can get this ball across. The noise starting to pick up again. The Spartan faithful still with an arm in the air. Christensen, the middle, gets it across. The pass from Grandia. Here's Bolden for the finish, and the Spartans defeat the first place WolfPack on the Saturday in 4 sets, getting some revenge after that straight sets win for Thompson Rivers on Friday.
Good for the WolfPack, though, coming in this weekend, winning in straight sets last night and taking a set off tonight, so winning the weekend split. Good job from the Spartans to turn around and come back after, not their best match of the season last night, and winning this one in 4, getting full points for their team.
And I think it's also, when you have a national championship ahead for Trinity Western, Dave, this is a good opportunity to fight back. You were down. You feel out of it maybe, and they came back and they played well tonight in a lot of ways. And I thought Emma Graca was one of the standout players for me personally. Yeah. I thought, at least at the start of the match, just quietly, not too flashy, but picking up the kills. But who stands out to you in this one?
Plouffe for me, like I said, that TSN turning point, I swear, that was the point in this game where things really turned around. It led to a few hitting errors. She got so many blocks to start that 4th set, I think 3 blocks to start. And then that affects the attacks. She's in the head of those offensive players. All of a sudden they're doing something different or trying to do a little bit more. To me, she's the player of the match.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, as it is a Trinity Western victory in 4 sets over Thompson Rivers. Hope you had some fun with this one, and we still have the men's match to come. This match started at 3:10 Pacific. It ended at 5:06. Total time 1 hour and 56 minutes. I hope you enjoyed this broadcast presented by BioSteel. Now it's time for us to say goodbye and get ready for the men's match. For Sports Information Director Scott Stewart, Associate Director of Athletics Mark Jansen, Dave Dooley on commentary, and the team at the Langley Events Centre producing this broadcast, my name is Tim James, and at 5:08 Pacific, we say good evening from the Langley Events Centre.